scourge of the creeping bellflowers. Stealthily, they crept along the garden floor, hidden in the midst of the Maltese crosses tall, when suddenly, clustered, they appeared. Their bright rows of buds belied the coming pall. As their lilac bells proclaimed aloud, this bed would belong to them alone by fall. Little did they know their incessant chiming awakened within me a storming new resolve to choke their songs from their elongated necks when their brief flash of indigo faded and devolved. I started with just one, next a small cluster, pulling and yanking until my muscles yelled. Into the compost bag fitted with a pail, I stuffed the weeping choruses of lilac bells, who chimed for help until they at last lay trapped into a creepy silence by that deep well. When the new green sprouted where the snow had been, I missed their cheery rose in freshest spring, their lilac hues unmatched by anything. I grieved my axe and wished to hear them ring, when from a corner plot I heard them softly sing. Relief and rage went hand in hand as I their throats did wring.
I'm going to sing a song called Dog Tag, which I wrote August 16th, 2024. I thought I felt a raindrop on my calf, but I looked down and saw a laughing stray, who playfully encouraged me to laugh. I would have felt relief to see him stay. I glanced at him, then to the traffic there that flew on by a couple steps away. The drivers didn't notice him or care, or none of them were slowing anyway. A small dog tagged me near a busy street today. He ran around and around and around and around and around. I tried to help, but he believed I tried to play. He ran around and around and around and around and around. Each time I tried to catch him, he just ran away. I looked and listened for his owner's call, but couldn't hear it past the traffic sound. It seemed his owner wasn't near at all. I scanned a parking lot and she was found. They're motioning that I should grab her guy. I tried, but he was nearer to the ground, and fast I grabbed and missed as he ran by. Then back to tag his mom, that laughing hound. A small dog tagged me near a busy street today. He ran around and around and around and around and around. I tried to help, but he believed I tried to play. He ran around and around and around and around and around. Each time I tried to catch him, he just ran away. This poem's called Not a Guard Dog, and it's a Silas story. I wrote it January 22nd, 2024. Old Mike was not the bravest dog around. If you surprised him, you would hear the sound of distant, muffled barking. He'd be found there, hiding underneath Si's mother's bed. He could have just stayed silent there instead. So many other dogs would just play dead or just pretend that they weren't there at all if they felt frightened, since they were so small. Though Mikey had been scared enough to crawl and hide, which with intruders isn't wrong, Si's mother's bed made Mikey dog feel strong enough to bark till safety came along. Mike chose that spot since Mikey was aware Si's mom had been the strongest person there. That's it.
My poem is called Change Your Circumstance. We search for clarity, and while it's a rarity that we find a glimmer at all, we never stop trying and make the mistake of buying into things that make us fall, into holes meant to swallow and make us feel hollow that we then must dig ourselves out of. When we learn the lessons, but not without concessions and without any amount of joy or laughter, without our happily ever after, just more pain and trauma waiting. And we take each hit, and soon we find a bit of the joy amidst the pain which we were skating. We try with our might to make it through each night, hoping that somewhere in the dark we will find peace. That while we are sleeping, the shadows stop creeping, and the hits of the day will just cease. And we wake to the sun, thinking today I'll have fun, and for a moment you have hope for the day. You stretch and you smile, and it has been a while, but you are determined to chase the dark away. You have minutes of ease, and you are able to release some of the pain and hurt that you carry before it all crashes back and shows you what you lack, and life once again becomes scary. But each day when you wake, in those first moments you make yourself feel the peace and the hope. And each day they get longer, and you keep getting stronger, and it gets easier and easier to cope. Then realization dawns that we are all pawns in a game of our own making, that we get to decide, and we can turn the tide and dismiss the intrusive thoughts that keep invading. There is nothing we can't handle, and pain can't hold a candle to the divine light that shines within you. As you release the past and know that pain doesn't last, you will know that these words are true. Our traumas are for a reason, meant to last but a season, and for us to learn the lessons that they teach. But serenity is bliss, and just as soft as a kiss is there, and it is within reach. Open your mind and your heart, take a breath, and start to let go of whatever caused you pain. Forgive yourself and others, our sisters and brothers, and embrace the cleansing of the rain. Let the water wash you clean. Allow yourself to be seen as the divine light within you shines bright. With kindness and grace and a smile on your face, you can make all the wrongs in your life be set right. What energy you put out, without a doubt, is the same kind of energy you get back. Show compassion and acceptance, be bravely independent, and start to heal all the cracks. You can seal up the holes and let shine your soul, for we all have that brilliant light inside. Follow your authentic path and get yourself back. It is up to you to decide. Do you want to be healed, all your cracks sealed, and be healthy and whole once more? Slay the demons you see, become who you are meant to be? Do you choose to walk through that door? Or do you run, let the dark cover the sun? Do you let all your traumas dig you deeper? Do you believe that you aren't able to bring to the table anything of value, for you aren't a leader? If that is the case, just look at your face and see your soul shining through. We can't all lead, but we can plant a seed and love the tree that it grows into. We each are unique, but we are not weak, and we all have learned lessons that were tough. But they made us strong and showed us we do belong, and we are worthy, and we are enough. Just as we are, and we each can go far when we learn to just let ourselves go. To trust in our guides, they are always by our sides, for they know much more than we know. They won't lead us astray if we listen to what they say. They will guide us to where we need to be. We need to connect, look within and reflect, and acknowledge whatever we see. There is good and bad in us all. Don't let it be your downfall. Just work on healing yourself little by little. Before you know what has happened, your world that was blackened becomes brighter and lighter and less brittle. You feel strong and can see who you are meant to be, and the hurts are becoming less intense. The pain goes away with the dawn of each day, and everything is finally making sense. The joy lasts for longer each day that you get stronger, and the hits don't hit as hard. You can finally begin to look at your own skin and see that you are no longer scarred. You have healed from the trauma, the betrayals and drama that plagued you for years and years. You don't relive the pain. You have danced in the rain and washed yourself clean of your worries and fears. You get to enjoy the days soaking up the sun's rays, and that peace that you had coveted is yours. You know you are able, your will is unshakable, and you find yourself spending more time outdoors. Find yourself a nice place to feel the sun on your face and feel the pride, but don't forget humility. Be grateful for the chance to change your circumstance and never again doubt your own ability.
I printed out the poems I wanted to read tonight, but I kind of changed my mind and I wanted to read this one first. It's dedicated to Teri. A while ago, a couple of weeks ago, she wrote a poem called Balance Act, and she asked the members of our little poetry group, our poetry circle, to make a response poem. So this is mine, and it's dedicated to Teri. It's called Balancing Act. All of us are walking a tightrope between what is and what will be. All around us, above us, and beneath, a vast field of what might be, peppered with our fears, hopes, desires, worries, and anxieties, and longings. We're all hoping there's a net, for inevitably a gust of wind, a storm, a slip of focus will come so that we lose our balance, wobble back and forth, and far too often fall. A friend can be the net we need to stop our fall, a loving, trusted friend to hold us while we center, to help us find our footing, to support us while we balance again on that tightrope of life. A friend standing there with open arms, healing, soothing hands, a strong shoulder to lean on, tears to shed along with ours, and words of comfort once the silence is ready to be broken. A friend on her own tightrope, of course, and so our turn will come to be her helping hand, her support, to give her words of comfort and encouragement. We're all just trying to get by, to get through, to find our balance in life, a balance of joys and sorrows, of gains and losses, of growth and regression. Without each other, it's truly an impossible task. We're built to need a safety net. And last time I was here, which was 2 months ago, I read a poem that I said was channeling Bev, a satirical poem about 3 members of a family that all died, the implication being it was because of the state of healthcare in Alberta under the UCP. Well, that poem got on Facebook, and I got a really angry response from somebody saying, I want names and dates. Where did this happen? When did it happen? The full name of the people. I tell you, some people just have no poetic soul at all. Well, this second poem of mine is filled with facts, if anybody wants to check them. It's called Inflation. When I was just into my 2nd decade, the Dairy Queen came to town, settled across the street from my school, and introduced us all to soft ice cream. A cone cost 5 cents then, a dime with chocolate coating. A sundae cost $0.25. Available only in summer, of course. Who would buy ice cream in the winter? Now, DQs are open all year round, serving food both hot and cold, but for much more than a nickel, dime, or quarter. Inflation, we are told. Back then, a chocolate bar cost a dime, except for Pep Chew, which was only a nickel. People were outraged when a chocolate bar went up to a quarter. And now, a bar costs well over $1, even at the dollar store. Inflation, we are told. I grew and went to university. Tuition for a year was $344, not including books. Tuition now is in the thousands. Inflation, we are told. When I got married, we could have bought a house, a brand new house, for $20,000. Not in the best district, but still, $20,000 was so much money. Now it's not even enough for a down payment, and that same house would cost about $500,000. Inflation, we are told. That's just economics. We have to have an economy that grows. But I think inflation's just another word for greed. My first main job was as a teacher. My annual salary, a whopping $6,000 a year. We felt so rich. Now, younger folks must go into great debt to get an education, and home ownership is out of the question for most. In Japan, people take out 3-generation mortgages in order to buy a home. In Canada, young adults are advised to leave cities like Toronto and Vancouver. No room living there, priced out of sight. Inflation, we are told. The economy must show growth. But I think inflation's just another word for greed. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Madina. I have 3 poems for you guys today. Bear with me. It's been a little while since I've read in front of people. Okay. The tiger came in the dark of night, disguised as a firefly. I followed, thinking it was illuminating the path forward. I was led to shelter, somewhere safe to wait out the darkness, a comfortable place to rest my head until the morning light. But it was merely setting its trap, leading me to comfort so my guard would be down, then it pounced, sunk its teeth deep into my soul, laughing as I bled out. I gave in. Perhaps if I stopped struggling, it would be a swifter end. But rather than take my life there, it bound me in chains, shared with me the spoils of its next hunt. As it tore the carcass of its newest victim to pieces in front of me, I knew I was next. The beast relished in my fear, but I would not submit to it again. While the beast went out for its next hunt, I broke free of my chains, mustered up the strength through prayer, and I ran. Though the beast tried to chase me, it could not keep up. My path ahead was cleared, as if the jungle itself was guiding the way, urging me to keep running to freedom. The river expanded to greet me, washed away my blood and tears. I gave myself to the water, and it carried me home. Thank you. Sorry, I realize the first 2 that I have are a little bit more depressing, but I try to end, I'll do 3. The last one will be a little bit on a lighter note. Okay. You said you liked your steaks rare, liked seeing blood on the plate. I laughed, till I realized you saw me as something to consume too. You liked to see me bleed. It made you feel powerful, to leave wounds upon my skin, knowing I would carry those scars. That should I ever break free from you, your mark would remain. How long does it take for a scar to heal? Even layers of makeup cannot cover the gashes across my soul. A Band-Aid won't stop the trembling. No ice pack will bring the light back to my eyes, nor steady my voice once again. I was strong once, carried myself with my head held high. Now I scurry in corners with my head bowed, hoping to remain unnoticed. Do you know what it is to live in terror? So fragile that should someone tap on my glass, I would fall to pieces. They say forgiveness is the only way to heal, but you are not deserving of my forgiveness. One day you will face all that you have done, and on that day no one can save you.
First, an announcement. If any of you have ever visited the World Peace Shrine, that was down in Botterill Bottom Park. The city decided it was an environmental hazard and bulldozed it. And there's a petition on the website where you can ask for a new one to be rebuilt. Now, the World Peace Shrine was a spiral of rocks with an altar in the center used for meditation or contemplation. And I think that it was a huge asset to Lethbridge's spiritual community. So if you're interested, the petition is at worldpeaceshrine.love/petition. Okay. So I'm really glad that there have been some poems on grief, because that's all I have for you today. And I'm really sorry if it brings you down a little bit, but I feel like I've dealt with a lot of it this year. And I'm not sharing my grief with you to bring you down, but as a method of releasing it out of my heart so it doesn't dwell there. A poem regarding grief. The weight of a mountain might crush me. It could possibly, but only if the gods are angry. The volume of the ocean might drown me. It could possibly, but only if I dive too deep, or the storm is too great, or Cthulhu clings too tight. The vastness of space might smother me. It could possibly, but only if I venture too far, if I abandon safety, or if the science is faulty. So I stay home, and the mountain comes to me. It comes over for tea. The ocean floods my room. The universe pricks my heart, and I breathe out. Out of my home, out of my mind, out of my heart. Breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out, and be. Instructions on how to dress a body. It's like dressing a full-size doll, if you ever played with dolls. It's like picking up a terrier with their stiff little rib cage and their short, stumpy legs, seeking balance. It's like stocking an empty fridge, pouring new, fresh groceries onto shelves, cool to the touch, preserved in wrappings. It's like collecting river rocks, solid and heavy, plucked from their resting place, seeking balance. It's like sketching a nude model, distantly, objectively, completing an art project, with lines that represent the human art form, but they are not the human art form. They are not. They are not. They are dolls and river rocks and empty fridges, and they must be wrapped and preserved and decent and dignified. And whatever you dress them in, press out the wrinkles, pull their hands through the sleeves, press their hair flat, adjust the collar. It won't fit right. It won't look right. Their expression is one you've never seen before. Their jaw is set wrong, their eyes are too sunken, their cheeks are too rosy. And you are so close, wrapping your arms around their waist to fasten a belt. It's the first time in all of your life you've ever wrapped your arms around their waist, seeking balance. Thank you.
I'm going to read two poems tonight. One I wrote 4 years ago, and the other one I wrote in the last 3 days. First one is called To the Old Guard. Do not mistake my silence today for agreement. Do not assume I'm in your camp, you self-satisfied snool. You who still benefits, whose whole family for generations has still benefited from other people's blood, sweat, and death. 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 I am watching. I am thinking. I am planning. I am plotting. I am teaching, both underground and in the streets. We are strategizing. We are listening. We are gathering our supplies. We are gathering our allies and all our resources. You'll probably never even know what hit you. You'll soon be outdated, gotten around, replaced, when no one listens to your speeches anymore, when no one asks you for your opinions anymore, and no one tolerates your antiquated hatred anymore. Anymore. You will die sometime, you know. Prepare to meet thy Maker and atone for all thy sins. Meanwhile, I hear our new world's a-comin'. Get out of the way. That's it. This one's got a different vibe. At 68, it will soon be my birthday and I'm confused. Am I as old as that number sounds? I don't feel old, and age is only a number, right? But I do feel tired, and something has changed. All my life, I've helped as I can. I've been driven to ease, to ameliorate suffering, to work for justice. I'm the kind of person who runs into the fire to see what can be saved, to help who can be helped. My colleagues used to call me a real push-the-river kind of gal, but I push no more. There will never be enough that I alone can do to stop the suffering. I will now let others run into the burning buildings, the burning families, the burning countries. Now I will support them, those strong, fearless ones. I will feed them and encourage them and hopefully even inspire them. No one of us can ever do enough, but each of us is enough. And I am enough, and I have done enough. I finally feel I've done enough. Enough, a very fraught word for someone who has felt I have to pay over and over for the piece of the earth I stand on, for the privilege of just being allowed to live. And that's what's changed. That's the transformation. I know that that you, that we are enough, and there is more. There is always more. There is always more love and more care and more of what we need. I also know now that there is really no measure of doing enough, because just to be is more than enough. To be, to contribute, to be with is more than enough, and I am grateful. Yes, I have suffered, as so many of us have suffered. Yet I have had so much beauty and joy. That's what I see most often these days, and so many times I find myself uttering, thank you. It's said by Meister Eckhart, the medieval mystic, that if the only prayer you ever say in your entire life is thank you, it will be enough. And it is. Nothing more is needed. But there is more, and I want to let that more flow like a river without force, not to accomplish more, but to allow my life force to do what I so want to do, the writing and the art, to pour myself out. I hope it to be a kind of a blessing and encouragement for you. I am not old, but I am old enough. enough to allow life to flow. May I allow that river of more to flow for the rest of my very long life. About 25, 35 more years, okay? I am grateful. Thank you.
Okay, this one is called The Momentous Perception of Inequality. Feeling like a morning tree ripping off the blinds, feeling like another soar in and out of time. If your brain is frozen soft, you had better lose. I am going to drop it off, meaning has to choose. Sink away into the night, let your motion fail. Let the leeches fill the night till you're feeling stale. Now I give it all away as I burn to choose. Now I want another one, leading to the blues. So you gave the filter back, so your focus changed. So the rivers flowed away till they were deranged. Now I fit another mold into all the blinds. Now I sneak apart from it, focus on the signs. How you knew you never were, how you bogus failed. How your lights were going out like you never wailed. I have grieved for other things that I never had. I have ripped apart the words, tossed them in the can. So you sank down in the stream, picking up the rocks, throwing them along the shore, all you ever got. For the fine you got for free, it was never there. It was just a golden bug crawling in your hair. Speak your mind and make it up, fill the words again. Drop the tires into truth, picking up a pen. Steal from me a little less, mountains on the shore. Picking up another jewel, take it to the store. Thanks. This one's called The Whip Smart Cottage Cheese. I am going to turn away from the swollen show. I am going to pick a bird, feelings gonna show. I have been another tree growing in the ground. I have been another man, make another sound. For the fight you gave it up, then I begged for life. All the people put it back, corner of a knife. Hit the signs and break it off, I will freely fall. Down to where you're going to, I will hit the wall. Felt the time I didn't die, felt the currents change. All the slippers going back, take them to the range. Then I filled another form, threw it in the sand. Then I sought for it for free, beaching on the land. How I hit another high, how my purpose fails. All the times I took a puff, buying some bake sale. So the grief did fill it out, so my purpose moved. Off into another one, shadows gonna prove. Let my mind be not for free, as you burn to fail. Let the lighthouse put it back, stinking for the sail. Never want to follow through, broken like a trance. Like a river in the road, people gonna dance. So the fire did slip away, off into the night. So the light was really bright, feeling for the way. Now my mind has scaled it back, now my rudders choose. Now my grief is coming back, are you gonna lose? Thanks.
Ooh, I feel a little bit disingenuous. There's some very, very sincere poems, and I'm gonna just do a little bit of satire. So, satires are good. Excellent, brilliant. So it's in just one poem in two parts. Does anyone have strong opinions about, statistical inference? No? Okay. This is going to bore a lot of you. All right, so it's called An Ode to P-Values. This is the first part one. I turned chilled from my laptop. Oh, how can this be? Is it that I saw what I thought that I'd seen? And the screen cast cold blue light on my back as I sob with my head in my hands in my lap. Like soon from my status, my stomach falls fast. Is this it? Am I done? Just a phony? A hack? I rush to the window and scream at the sun. All this to show for the work that I'd done. Someone's at fault, I can't be to blame. I'll fudge it, I'll twist it, I'll save my good name. Oh, what's the use? I shrink back to my chair, averting my gaze from the screen's icy stare. The office room spins, I must be going insane. Surely no one alive can relate to this pain. I'd do anything just to escape this paralysis, anything but take up Bayesian analysis. But perhaps what I'd seen just wasn't the truth. Maybe I needn't be coming unglued. Through a crack in my fingers, I'll chance just a peek, but I'd seen what I'd seen, and I let out a shriek. The second encounter, good grace, so much worse. Oh, why me, so forsaken, so blighted, so cursed? I pinch myself, but this isn't a dream, my defiant damnation there on the screen. With such apathy to the damage it's done, the monster that be P.051. Thank you. Part two. All right. N+1, that's all that it took. Now my name's in the latest scientist book. And I read and reread my latest hot take as I gorge myself on champagne and cake. I'm the cock of the walk, I sing like a canary. But heavens, what do you mean it was all arbitrary? It was my theory, it was flawless, I knew all along. A genius like me, I could never be wrong. But if I'm right now, would I have not been before? You must not know the value of sub-alpha scores. Here, I'll teach you about null hypothesis tests. You end up, falsify, and voila, you are set. Now what do you mean Popper rolls in his grave? I'm trying to party, hush yourself and behave. You're jealous is all, jealous I say. Were you in my shoes, you'd see it my way. And with a hand wave, I'm off from that dull, narrow mind and the pedant nonsense that had wasted my time. I don't need that now, for tonight is my night. The stats are the facts, and they've proven me right. And so do all the congrats in my email. In my future, there's tenure, sports cars, and females. Oh, I'm walking on sunshine, I'm dancing on air, and I sing out loud to all who might care. Was there anything ever, ever so fine as the angel that be P.049?
So 10 months ago, my wife died, and I've written, back in March, I read a variation of a poem I first wrote in December. It was for the day we spread her ashes on her family farm. Today, I'd like to read the original, and I'm also going to read afterwards a variation that I wrote for her tombstone as well. So I called this one The Night Before 2023, Melissa. I wrote this on December 14th, 2023. 'Twas a month before Christmas when tragedy hit. Something so awful, my heart was split. A pain so deep words cannot express. Something so hard. Goodbye, my princess. My love is with her as said in our vows, to cherish and hold my beloved spouse. Always and forever the love will remain, although her absence leaves so much pain. For the night before, everything was fine. There was no warning, no symptom or sign. She moved through the house. I'm heading to bed. She spoke through the door. A few more were said. All right, sweet dreams, and I love you, I said. I love you too. Then she went to bed. Memories of her will stay in my heart, her love, compassion, empathy, and smarts, her astounding strength, her alluring style, her amazing laugh, her beautiful smile. This year is worse than any before, her life cut short. I wish we had more. With wisdom and strength, she knew what to say. She made things better every single day. And if she were here, she'd tell us to grieve. She'd say we were strong, and we must believe. She's now with family, her mother Lynette, those who went before, and her cherished pets. Grieving is normal and cannot be rushed. Things will get better, although we are crushed. The pain will subside and always remain. A paradox, grief. It's hard to explain. I love you, my sweet, my darling dear wife. I'll keep you close, the love of my life. And so this one will sound very familiar, but it's the third variation. It's the one I wrote for her tombstone. Always and forever I'll remember your love. Your kindness for others was miles above. And that's where you've gone, to heaven, my dear. You will always be missed by those who are here. Memories of you will live in our hearts. Your love, compassion, empathy, and smarts. Your astounding strength and alluring style. Your amazing laugh. Your beautiful smile. Using patience and love, you knew what to say, making life better every single day. And with that wisdom, you had the right words. You made things clear, making sure we were heard. Now if you were here, your words you would weave, showing your strength, you'd ask, please believe, I'm with our family, my mother Lynette, friends who went before, and my cherished pets. We will all grieve, me, from heaven's embrace, but I do not wish to see those tears on your face. The pain will get better and will always remain. Grief is a paradox that I cannot explain. So sit with me now, on this farm I loved. My ashes are here, as part of the mud. I sprout with the plants, I sway in the breeze. I stay here at home and mature with the trees. The farm's always calm and peaceful to me. I'm growing again with my family. I'll love you always and watch from the sky. I'll rain down my love, never saying goodbye. I'll be with you all, my spirit is free. I just want one thing. Please remember me. Remember the good, the fun times we had. All of our laughter and some of the sad. Remember our lives and the times that we shared. Remember my love and how much I cared. Remember it all, I love you so much. Remember my heart, it's something you touched. Remember one thing most importantly. I know you love me, my whole family. So thanks for the visit. Here at home I'm at peace, and my life will go on in your memories. Thank you.
Hi, have any of you ever driven to Fort McMurray? I wrote a song about Highway 23. When you're looking for that pot of gold, Highway 63 can be deadly. Long lines of traffic, stuck behind trucks. Deer, elk, and moose on the wrong side. Me in my car, praying they're staying. Yeah, praying they're staying till I get on by. When you're looking for that pot of gold, Highway 2063 leads to McMurray, where thousands toil, turning dirt into oil, in the land of the great tar sand, in the land of the great tar sand. When you're looking for that pot of gold, Highway 63 can be deadly. Long lines of traffic, stuck behind trucks, some that are tired, others that are wired, all in a hurry, going nowhere. All in a hurry, going nowhere. When you're looking for that pot of gold, Highway 63 can be deadly, so just beware, pass with care. Too many crosses line the ditches on Alberta's road to riches. Too many crosses line the ditches on Alberta's road to riches. And I grew up on a ranch north of Lynbrook Falls. And in 1923, my granddad had a rodeo, so I wrote a song about the rodeo. When you're looking for, no, sorry, wrong one. Come on, people, gather around. There's a stampede going down, 10 miles north on the main road, up against the mountains where the Chinook winds blow. There's a ranch called the Wildcat, putting a stampede on. Come on out, cheer them on. Local lads are putting on a show, roping and a riding, showing off the cowboy way. Come on out, cheer them on. Local lads are putting on a show, roping and riding, showing off the cowboy way. Eddie Burton, come on down. Show us how to ride that bronc. Nod your head, gate opens wide. Hang on tight for an 8-second ride. Better you spur, better they buck. Higher your score, so ride 'em cowboy, let her buck. Come on out, cheer them on. Local lads are putting on a show, roping and riding, showing off the cowboy way. Eddie Burton, come on down. Show us how to rope that calf. Nod your head. With doggy goes. 10-foot lead and off you go. Toss your rope. catch that calf. 2 reps and hooey ties him down. Faster your time, better your score. Come on out, cheer them on. Local lads are putting on a show, roping and riding, showing off the cowboy way. Denise Burton, come on down, show us how to bend them poles. Round to the right, round to the left, round the top and head for home. Local lasses putting on a show, bending them poles just fast as they can go. Showing off the cowgirl way, showing off the cowgirl way. Come on out, cheer them on. Local lads are putting on a show, roping and riding, showing off the cowboy way. 10 miles north on the main road, up against mountains where the Chinook winds blow. Thank you.
The first poem I'll read to you is Balance Act, the one Jill had a what do they call them? A response poem, thank you, too. And the second one is Climbing Solo. Both are on my Substack called Poetic Encouragement. If any of you like to check it out, go ahead. Just ignore the paid subscription button. You can subscribe for free. So let's start with Balance Act. I can't tell you that things are going to be better until you were able to talk to me about all your agonies and pain. I can't talk to you about the beauty in the world I see when you are facing the harsh truth and cruelty that surrounds you, and you see it day after day. I can't take away your pain. I have my own share of it, but I can be there to listen and to be a shoulder to cry on. I can't tell you to stay active and to speed up when you want to take it easy and slow down. I can't understand how you really feel unless you are able to identify your feelings and tell me about it in a clear language I'm able to understand firmly, and I don't have to read between the lines. I can't heal your aches, pains, and scars, but I can touch you in a loving, caring way. We can't be a boring carbon copy of each other. It is much better and healthier when I compliment you and you compliment me. And let's do Climbing Solo. When you realize how alone you are, and you are surrounded by a lot of people, a lot of good people, you most likely do more than you need to. Don't beat yourself up for being an overachiever. Just remember, you are only responsible for your share of things to do. Everyone else needs to carry their own load. You cannot carry it for them. You need to take time to enjoy good things in life and lean on people when you need to. It is perfectly fine for you to ask for help as much as you give your help to others. Remember how good it feels when you help someone. Let others feel that joy by letting them help you.
I just want to say off the bat, I love poetry night. I just think it's just wonderful, you know? All kinds of different poems and different people, and it's really interesting. The first 2 poetry nights that I showed up to last month and the month before, I kind of just came in here and I didn't realize it was poetry night. And so I really kind of wasn't really prepared. I kind of consider myself, I would describe myself as an accidental poet on the first 2 poetry nights. Tonight I actually came here and I'm kind of sort of prepared, okay? Now, I also wanted to just mention a few things. I have no entourage, unfortunately. So you are going to have to be my entourage tonight. But I actually never have an entourage.
Here's the tipping jar.
All right. Yeah. So what I was going to mention is that my first, or I guess the second time I was here, I delivered one of my poems, and it was called I Shot Someone Today, and it was about road rage. And I just want you to, I want to clarify things. That was just made up. I never really did shoot anybody, okay? And no, really, and in fact, with road rage, I don't think I've even ever, given anybody the finger or anything. I don't do that sort of thing. But the poem that I'm going to read right now, it does speak to where I come from. The poem is called Anonymous. I am anonymous. No phone, no last name, well, Daniel's, eh? No fixed address. I ask for nothing, and I accept nothing less. I search out the cafes in the dark, empty corners. They are my refuge, my sanctuary. I have no Facebook friend. I have no old PayPal. I am a face in the crowd, a drop in the sea of humanity. I am tabula rasa, a blank slate. I am mute, invisible. I am anonymous. Thank you. Okay, the second poem that I would like to read, I did this the last time I was here, but I had the thing written out and I had words crossed out and lines with arrows and whatnot, and I kind of didn't present it very well. I asked at the time if there were any particle nuclear physicists in the crowd tonight, and no? Okay. Well, then I'm going to have to, I'm surprised. I'm going to have to just give you just a little brief idea about what this poem is about. With the theory of quantum mechanics, which deals with very, very small things like electrons and protons and photons, the way the theory works, there's some very strange things that happen in the very, very small world. One of them is that, for example, tonight, if we went out, we might see the moon, and then later on it would disappear, but we would all be pretty certain that it was somewhere. In quantum mechanics, it doesn't really work that way. The only time anything actually exists is when it's observed, when it's looked at. So Edwin Schrödinger, who was one of the founders of the fundamental people in quantum physics, he came up with this thought experiment. He said, well, if that's the case, suppose you have a box and you put a cat in the box and seal it. And inside the box, there's a radioactive element that may or may not decay, totally at random. So you study this for a 5-minute interval. And if the Then you open the box to see whether or not the cat is alive or whether it is dead. If the radioactive is triggered, then the cat will die, and if not, the cat would be alive. According to quantum physics, in the meantime, before you actually look, the cat is neither alive nor dead. It's in what they call an indeterminate state. Okay. So, bearing this in mind, and the way scientists prod and probe and try to determine things, this is called Schrodinger's cat. Somewhere between the inside and the outside of the box, you might hear a purr. It might be faint. It might be nothing more than the ambient noise of the apparatus. We all stood around the box in our white lab coats with our slide rules and our pencils behind our ears, feverishly taking notes, thinking some careful measurement could shed some light on this. We poked and prodded it. We took its weight, measured its temperature and pressure, calculated its density and specific gravity, carefully counting the ticks on the Geiger counter, and we were all left as confused and bewildered as when we started. While Schrodinger's cat simply hung in the balance, watching us, and yawned and stretched and looked at us and grinned. Thank you. I have one final poem. This is a metaphor. The poem is called The Street. 2:35 a.m. Silence. The street slips silently, slowly, unimpeded through the city. Bathed in a cool spray of mercury vapor and the warm afterglow of red taillights on freshly dampened asphalt. She moves slowly, resolutely, past sentinels of concrete, steel, and glass, whose watchful eye give nod of assent in acknowledgement of her passing. She slides effortlessly through intersections where traffic standards stand erect, giving her full green, unimpeded passage as she stretches and yawns and through her full length and breadth. The street is mute in silent meditation, contemplation. She is at peace. Then, as the first scent of dawn wafts through the mid-morning air, the street stiffens and braces herself as she hears faintly in the distance the revving of engines, the squeal of burning rubber, the smell of exhaust, the pleading cry of honking horns. She steadies herself for the long, hard day ahead. Thank you very much.
Right, this one I wrote about my experience with the local university and college. It's called a piggy bank. Under that indifferent stare, that annoyed scowl, I am acutely aware of my fragile skin, my porcelain outsides. All of your fancy speeches and pretty words can't make me forget what you've done when outside eyes were turned away. Quick to take, slow to give. Quick to take, slow to help. Quick to take, slow to... I don't think you'll ever care. No, all of your concern was for what was inside, what resided under my porcelain outsides. Claws of hidden fees, fangs of extra charges, sledgehammers of new policies. You shatter my belly, eviscerate my body, grab every nickel and dime with frenzied fingers. Needles of incompetence, convenient losses of receipts and forms, drain whatever penny is left over. I could have ran, but my legs are stumps. They were malnourished from numerous reassurances. That's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. Whatever semblance of bone that had managed to grow were smashed to bits by those of indifferent stares and annoyed scowls. Verbal lashings, psychic pressures never fail to remind me, what chance do you have without them? You won't save any dimes without that piece of paper. You have to suffer for success. You must suffer to succeed. Looking across my shattered body, feeling my painfully empty belly, I wish they'd drop the pretense and let everyone know. They don't care about our success. They don't care about our suffering. It's not like it would change anything. This next one I don't have a title for yet, so if you have any suggestions. The crumpled papers across the floor resembles the foam of a raging tide. Life is a long, cruel joke, but by far I must be its favorite jester because I keep falling for it. Meaning from metaphor, purpose from practice, routine from reason. Life can't stop laughing when its chaotic constructions trip up my legs and send my efforts flying into nothingness. The broken glass against the baseboards resembles the wall of jagged ice pushed against the tumultuous shore. Life is a cruelly long joke, and by far you are its favorite jester. So I must be the runner-up for believing it was me. A hopeless court staffed by helpless people crowded in a helpless court, all waiting for a gavel that will never fall. Their blood and tears splattered on the walls resembles the work of a psychopathic Pollock. Dwarfed by every detail, surrounded by jagged ice and the raging tide, I feel like the world's biggest jester for not noticing all of the brokennesses from man's designs. Maybe the ultimate punchline is believing we're big enough for life to notice us. Toss down your bells. Fate is unknowable, but still impersonal. Toss down your bells. Live unrehearsed. That's it.
Okay, so I have 3 poems for you guys tonight. They're all pretty short, so bear with me. The first one is about my grandma, and it's called Deteriorate. So, a mind slipping into a maddening lack of noise, a silence that shatters the withered drums inside your wrinkled ears. Once a beauty to take on the ages, now a beauty that has taken on age herself. The creaking inside your hollowed body is almost louder than the echoing reminder that the reaper is right around the corner. You cannot fall in love with life because life has broken your heart. You were a brilliant woman. You are a brilliant woman. You are the ruins of a once great empire that you built yourself. And yet, now even the act of staying awake seems too much. Thank God for your life so far and weep tears of a life long lived. Grieving your own life, imagine. You can see the clock, and so can I. An ashen, crashing, losing. Old age is a great way to go unless you get to watch your body, and worse, your mind give up on you. Suddenly it loses all appeal. I hope you can smile. A real smile without the guilt of being a burden, without the regret of what you feel you have failed, without the cost of a million frowns. And when it's time to say goodbye, we shall take comfort in knowing that this is your will. I love you. I don't have a title for this one. It's just for my cousin. Apparently, I read a lot about family. A moth to the propane flame that draws you in. It's not only poisonous, but deadly hot for your fragile wings. You see the blues and reds of the flickering fire, and you cannot help but reach your hands out to touch. You are so mesmerized that you do not notice the flesh being charred and the hair being singed off. The light is just too tantalizing for you to resist. For the hope that maybe it will illuminate something deep inside you cannot risk just ignoring it. Maybe it will break away that hard shell and reveal the shriveled inside, giving it warmth and comfort in this trying time. Your brain turns off and your heart turns on, yearning for a feeling other than numb. At least with the fire licking your lips, you'll be able to taste a burn other than nicotine and metal. That's... Okay, and then this is the last one. Green-eyed monster, that's what you are, and let me tell you why. You haunt my nighttime with whispers of what we once were. You taunt my waking thoughts with the remnants of your lips. I try not to think of all you did to me, for me, but still you stick. The feeling you had for me keeps me strangled and choked. I am wrapped up in you, unable to escape. You hide under my bed, in my closet. Your screams cloud my judgment. I am forever agonized by who we used to be. If I could touch you, maybe I would be free, dissipate you like a spirit, but I cannot do that. You are out of reach, only afflicting from afar. I need to rid you from my skin, from my clothes, bleach myself until the chemical burns bury their imprints you've left. I want out, and I don't know how to escape the green-eyed monster.
This is a poem from my hammock. Time too quickly flows. Slow, please, let me lie between the grass blades catching green. Light rolling down drying, dying coolie breaths between trees lingering like a crowd. Along the river we sat and swung and sang lullabies of morning and farewell unto the sun. Set back the clock. I'm not ready for tomorrow. Mornings are the only other time I feel this alive, rooted among the trees where I swallow the evenings, thick and sweet in my throat. Honey, I'm home, but I'll be back soon. I write really short little poems, so here's another short one. And so we mourn, and we love, and we long, and we remember, but we make peace. We make peace, and we surrender, and we make peace, and make peace, and make peace with all this life we have been given, every bit of it, the agonies, the ecstasies, and the forgotten. Thank you.
I got 2 poems for you tonight. I have like a kind of fun-ish poem, and then the best word I could come up for it was like more personal. So I'm gonna throw it up to you. Make some noise if you want the fun poem first. Okay, make some noise if you want the personal poem first. Okie dokie. We'll do that one first. Okay. Currently, this is titled Cortisol. You live in my head rent-free, but my body's a different story. You wreak havoc on everything, but nobody will ever see. 'Cause I've learned over the years to mask the tears you bring, so we dance effortlessly. You take up this space within my soul, but without you I'd fear being alone. You love to isolate me from loved ones, but nobody will ever know. 'Cause you have a way with words nobody has ever heard. Maybe you are who I get this from. And so the cortisol in my blood flows like the rivers and lakes of old. High and low tides, oh no, oh my, undercurrent is implied when froze. Fight and flight, no matter the time, you're so reliable. Your grip gets tight, my chest, my sight. Your hands wrap around my heart, my mind, my light, my rhymes, my tongue I bite, all to your delight. My kind is, has, and will be, always and forever your prey. How ironic it is we use the very same word to escape that which lives in the bloodstream, yours, mine, and all of ours combined. In a pool of uncertainty, it shimmers, shines, and shimmies, carefree down our bloodlines, taking that which we call home unto a place we must follow. A cold, hollow courthouse awaits, in which we must make our case. Before the judge and jury I sing, it done lived in my head rent-free, and the executioner can see my body's a different story, 'cause it wreaks havoc on everything. So only now you begin to see that I've learned over the years to mask the tears it brings with this dance known as poetry. Still, it takes up the space within my soul, 'cause without it I'd fear writing alone. So it loves to isolate me from loved ones, but now maybe one of them will know that it has a way with words the lucky have never heard. It's a gift, it's a curse, it's where this came from, the cortisol. Thank you. And the next one, I'm between two titles on this one, but right now it's called Oh Jolly Old Thief of Joy. How much time have you had to perfect this craft? Doesn't it get old? I mean, the last laugh. I can hear you now, ringing in my ears like an alarm I can't turn off. You're a bloody nightmare, you know that. More often than not, though, you just hit us out of left field like a ton of bricks. It's like your favorite game, and I'm the only player on the pitch, just like you're the only spectator in the stands. Only you've this crazed look in your eye as you chant. He's got this, she's got that, they've got more, and we've got Jack. On and on for all eternity, like like a GIF. Now, call me a pessimist, but if ever there was a red flag, well, my jolly old nemesis, let's just be real, you'd practically be wrapped, head to toe. Of that, there's no doubt. But as soon as we catch this glimmer of hope, in which we know your harsh red tones can be seen a mile out, you come back around like a bloody boomerang, wha-pow, and we're out for the count, as our jaws hit the floor of a catwalk on which you strut. Harsh red tones turn soft, shimmering like silk as the light cascades over what was once baggy and box-like. Now is quite becoming and well-fitted and honestly kind of nice. In fact, I wouldn't mind. No, never mind, I said as I started to cry. Every single time. It's like your fail-safe, the price. But, you know, that's just the cost of living these days and why I haven't a penny to my name. Because the jolly old thief of joy strikes a hard bargain. Comparison.
All right. My poem is called This Is Cheesy, but I am the girl who always has to put a disclaimer before everything positive she says. I am the girl who has to joke to break the awkward tension after an emotional conversation. I am the girl who says, "It is what it is," about the things that move her. I am the girl who feels that she's not worthy to be happy because she can never reach the standard she holds herself to. I am the girl who can't admit to having emotions because that would mean admitting vulnerability. I am the girl who can't have good things because that means the risk of having them dragged away from under her feet. But I also am the girl with all these cheesy thoughts she wants to tell you, like how my heart speeds up when we lock eyes and then completely gives out when you finally pull me close, or how I can't help but smile when I hear your laugh. I want to tell you how my skin melts under your touch and the way you bite your lip makes me feel like the prettiest girl in the entire world. Or how when you open the door for me and hand me the seatbelt, I just feel the most overwhelming sense of security. I want to tell you how the way you kiss my cheek makes my spine tingle, and how the discussions we have leave me longing for so many more, and how I feel that on the back of your motorcycle I have found my happy place. I want to tell you how the way you care for those around you gives me the urge to hug you and never let you go, or how whenever you describe the way you view the world, my soul feels so related to yours. I want to tell you how you make me the girl that thinks maybe she does deserve happiness. You make me the girl that can take the risk of vulnerability because you are worth it. You make me the girl who tells you all of these things without any disclaimers.
This is awesome. I've moved back to Alberta with my beautiful daughter, and so we're newer to Lethbridge, and we just arrived early summer. And I didn't know there was a place called Milo. And my two neighbors and their husbands, we got to know them. And so I said to the two gals, we need to go to Milo. And they said, where's Milo? So we went to Lilo Fest, and I'm a singer-songwriter. And the interesting thing about that is that you write poems, or I do. I write the poems, and then if it hits me, I put the music. And here's a poem about the Lilo Fest. I'm just going to do one. And it was about going to Milo and the crazy, fantastic weekend that we had. We rolled into Milo for the Lilo Fest, the gals and me, ready for music and rest. We set up our chairs by the stage with cheer and cracked open some nice cold beer. And next door in the glamping tent, it was so grand, were folks who truly, truly had it planned. They were prepped for the wild, for the flora and the fauna, while we stuck to beer and music and no drama. They brought battery packs and gadgets galore. We thought, wow, they've been camping before. But their tech skills turned out a little tragic as we soon discovered some camping magic. 'Cause we were the queens of Lilo, roughing it right. Lawn chairs, laughter, no phones were in sight. They were the tech wizards, or so they claimed, till the latrine, you know those outdoor ones, the latrine took a phone, and we were never the same. Now, let me tell you what happened next. One hiker's phone took a terrible hex. It leapt right from his pocket, straight in the loo. Well, then I thought, I had unplugged it to charge mine instead. And now I wondered, my face turning red, oh, was that the phone that I touched? Oh no, oh dear. Straight from the latrine to the charger? Oh my. The techno wizards had met their match, because we all laughed till our sides would catch. Glamping might keep you warm, it might keep you dry, but it won't stop phones from saying goodbye. We're the queens of Lilo, roughing it right. Lawn chairs, laughter, no phones in sight. They were tech wizards, or so they claimed, till the latrine took a phone and we were never the same. Now, the music, it was wild, it was eclectic, it was grand. Each act was much better than we had planned. But that gal on Saturday sure made us stop. Her melody sweet until she hit the word fudge. The rain came down and the mud did rise, but in our glamping tent, we stayed dry. Stepping outside, the water was deep over our shoes, and it was no small leap. The music played on, we sang with glee. Will we be back next year? You bet. Just wait and see. We're the queens of Lilo, roughing it right. Lawn chairs and laughter, no phones in sight. They were tech wizards, or so they claimed, till the latrine took a phone and we were all never the same. Now, next year, we'll charge our phones with care and keep them far from any latrine air. But we'll never forget that fateful day when the camping tech and their phone just washed away. Thank you.
I have 4 poems for you tonight. At the end of each poem, I'll kind of move the mic so you know it's done. All right, here we go. My existence has become so overbearing. Some may say, you're a Scorpio. Others may agree and state that I am too much. Dry hands, dry mouth, dehydration, dry love life, dry friendships. I thought I used a lot of lotion and drank enough water. I thought I was getting out of my bubble and trying to be more involved and social. But the more I try, the more my life becomes a drought. I'm homesick. I'm homesick, but I can't put my finger on what I'm homesick for. Maybe I'm homesick for the feelings and smells that I felt while at another's house, because their home felt more like a home than mine did. I'm homesick for a feeling that I didn't get to experience within my childhood. I'm 27, and I'm homesick for a place that never felt like home. I'm homesick for warmth, laughter, love, comfort. Mostly, I'm homesick for my future home. I wish I could have a conversation with a younger version of my mother. Would she find me funny? Would she find that our personalities intertwined without knowing our DNA? I often wonder what her real smile looked like. The smile that used to get her into trouble as she rode the bus to North London to see her favorite boy band. I wish I could have a conversation with a younger version of my mother so I could ask her to seek out the help that she needed so I didn't have to suffer. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, newbies. We had 4 of them tonight with various experiences. Shelley, you might be new to the Owl, but you're obviously not new to a stage. We had some newbies who might not have read their poems before, but we all love you. We love you all, and we are glad you came. I'm going to read my thank you notes, and as you probably see, I have to read everything, including my own poems. I don't memorize things too well. I even forget my dear boss's name, who I've volunteered for 10 years. Well, actually, no, I didn't forget it. I just mixed him up with the mic here. Anyway, my thank you notes. Many thanks to Braden and the rest of the staff at the Owl for their awesome venue and excellent service. Many thanks to John from Ryan from Rogers for recording, editing our event, for broadcasting it and posting it on YouTube. Many thanks to our dear sponsor, Grandma Tina, for sponsoring us this month and the last 2 months. Big thanks to, oh, she disappeared. She doesn't love me anymore. Big thanks to my dear friend, Cat, for being my co-pilot and her help ironing the kinks out and doing a lot of the behind-the-scenes work. Thanks to all of you poets for participating, and our audiences, and we have a few of them here at the Owl. And thank you to our Rogers audiences for watching us on cable TV and on YouTube. See you all on Wednesday, October 23rd, if you can make it. Open mics are every 4th Wednesday of the month. Upcoming dates are October 23rd, November 27th, December 18th. The 4th Wednesday in December is Christmas Day, so we moved it to the 18th. Next year's lineup is to be announced. Have a great night, everybody. Drive safe and hope to see you next month.